This is the Fifth Down NFL newsletter, and I'm your host, Tony Tucker. Each week, I'm going to pick 5 topics. It could be head-to-head matchups. It could be past stuff. It could be future stuff. Who knows? It could be gambling. But whatever it is, I'm going to try to keep it mostly positive because here, we want fans to have that juice, be just fully amped up, headed into Sunday for their matchups. If you want to learn more about what we do, go to fifthdown.shop and check out some of the very cool, unique designs that we have so that you can fan out extra on game day. And we're off. Week 7 in the books. We got week 8 to look forward to. And if you're a football fan like me, you wake up to, what do you know, the rich get richer? I am a Chargers fan, so it was a little painful to watch the Kansas City Chiefs land DeAndre Hopkins, but could have been worse. I feared that Cooper Kupp might have been on the way, and hopefully they don't double dip and get him too. But we got a great show for you. Let's get into it. First down. Okay, watching the Green Bay Packers. They're in a. This is a thriller. This is a horror comedy. You know, like that you're watching. Just one of those movies. In the first iteration of it, we knew who the killer was. It was Brett Favre, 3-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. Then they go to the second part of it, and we know Aaron Rodgers is the killer of that team, that era of what it was. Just out there, 4-time MVP, having 40 touchdown seasons with only 5 picks. And then I'm watching the Packers team down the second half of the season. It's like we're watching that movie and we're like, dude, Jordan Love is the killer. I'm watching this weekend and I'm like, oh shit, we got a twist, ladies and gentlemen. There's a second killer on this Packers team, and it's the defense. Like, I forgot to look up the name of the defensive coordinator, but whoever they switched to, this guy is doing some really fun stuff, amazing stuff. And we saw it against CJ Stroud at home, 86 yards. There's a safety out there I'm watching. I got to go Google him. I'm like, Evan Williams, who's this? And I'm not talking about the bourbon. The bourbon is the thing that came up at the top. But let's not get it twisted. That will not be happening for long. This kid is playing fantastic. The Xavier McKinney acquisition has been lights out. The guy starts off with like 5 interceptions in a row in 5 games. And then this weekend they bring him on the blitz. He's getting sacks. Edrin Cooper's playing amazingly out there. Van Ness on the defensive line. They're using Rashawn Gary, blitzing him up the middle. Like, just so much good stuff. They got journeyman linebacker Eric Wilson. I had to look him up too. Like, he's just out there just crushing dudes in the backfield. We're watching this thing and it's like, yes, Jordan Love is amazing. But if he has a defense that's coming along that can also play at the same level, like the Green Bay Packers could be in the Super Bowl. Second down, we're going to Pittsburgh. And there's an old saying that you always hear people go, well, if you got 2 QBs, you don't have one at all. I don't think that applies in this situation. Because, yes, you have 2 QBs, but Justin Fields and Russell Wilson are kind of the same QB, just at different ends of their career. Both throw the deep ball really well. Both maybe hang on to the ball too long. Russ had a bunch of athleticism when he was younger, not so much that I saw in the last game. But it's like you're dealing with the same QB, just at different stages of this type of QB's career. And I know a lot of people in the media like to bag on Russ, but like what I saw in that game was like if Russ is healthy and he continues to knock some of the rust off, like the Steelers have something going there because that defense is fantastic. I mean, like Joey Porter Jr.'s playing a lot better. The way they're using Minkah Fitzpatrick, to control the deep part of the field. Like they're not giving up a lot of the explosives they were last year. And just on the D line, the multiples, Keanu Benton is a fantastic player. They're going to go from Cam Hayward to Keanu Benton in the middle of that defense. And it almost feels unfair. Like he's really great. So, but to stick with the QB situation, it's like, if I'm a Steelers fan, even if things don't work out with Russ, it's not like you're going to, and no disparaging comments here, but you're not going to Mitch Trubisky or, like some of these other Mason Rudolph, some of these other backups. You're going to a guy that was 4-2. Like, so I just see this as a win. It's like Justin gets more time. He's continuing to prepare. He's focused. He's a top pick in this league, like, for a reason. So I feel really good about where the Steelers are. I hope the Steelers fans feel the same way. Brock Purdy. for whatever reason, the NFL started this thing where they're paying guys like, hey, well, we just got to sign them up now because we're going to pay them at any point. This is going to be the end of year 3 for Brock Purdy, so he's eligible for the contract extension. Now would be a time for Brock Purdy to step out and go, I'm that guy, right? Brandon Ayuk goes down for the season. Christian McCaffrey, it feels like he's not going to be back this year. You know, the offensive line has had some issues or difference. Like, it's so tough to tell with Kyle's scheme because when you're watching it, it's like when the run game's really cooking, it feels like everything's open in the pass game. Like, it's just a team that has to continue to run the ball for the pass game to be open downfield. He's still got George Kittle. Hopefully Debo recovers from this pneumonia situation, gets back onto the field. It's like, can Brock show he really is the guy for when a lot of these other weapons that he has are gone? Is he going to be able to elevate a 5th-round pick in Jacob Cowing, a receiver that I really like, who made a great play last week, and if Brock Purdy leads him, that's a touchdown. Ricky Pearsall's getting back. He had a rough offseason, injuries, is involved in a shooting, like recovering from a gunshot. It's like, can he get out there? Can he build chemistry with Ricky Pearsall? Can he step in? George Kittle is one of my favorite players. Like, he's just so exciting, the way he plays with the enthusiasm. I think that he is a Hall of Fame tight end in my book. And the defense is still there. Can Brock figure out ways to get this team to 10 wins? Because right now, 3-4 in an NFC that is going to be very crowded for playoff spots. I mean, we're talking, the NFC North has 19 wins as a division. Like, that's insane. I think the next closest division total has 14 wins, and that's the AFC West, and they have a 6-0 team in that division. So, like, it's going to be crowded to make those final couple spots in the NFC. Can Brock Purdy get this team to 10-6? Can he really put together a run? Let's go to 4th down. I like to gamble. Well, I don't really like to gamble, but I like to see what I win if I did gamble, right? Like, I used to gamble when I was younger, but now I'm older, I got kids, whatever. You guys don't give a shit. Let's move on. So I've been keeping track. I took a few weeks off because I was doing things, preparing, working behind the scenes for stuff for 5th down. But on the season, I'm currently 11 for 9 picking against the spread, and I got my 5 favorite picks this week if I were going to gamble. I'm not telling anybody to put money on this because I am not a professional gambler, and a lot of this stuff is just a gut feeling, but here we go. My number 1 bet is Cleveland at home, getting 9.5 points. In a division rivalry, it sounds like they're going to start Jameis Winston. I think even if the Ravens get out to a big lead, Jameis can get out there in garbage time, put up some points, and make this less than a 10-point victory at home. So I like Jameis in that spot there. The Arizona Cardinals, and I'm not just saying this because I just watched them beat my Los Angeles Chargers, but Tua, I think, is going to start this week. Maybe he's a little rusty. Also, I like James Conner to be a workhorse against this defense. Like, just get out there and just smash the rock, play a little ball control. Kyler Murray to make plays with his legs. I saw that on Monday night. That was such a killer. But good for the Cardinals. Actually, F the Cardinals. Who cares? I like them plus 3.5 in Miami this weekend. The Chicago Bears, minus 2.5. Doesn't feel like Jaden Daniels is going to play. They've had a bye. Caleb gets his feet underneath him. He's on the road in a big spot here for them to get a chance. They got to keep pace with these other teams. A chance to get to 5-2. I like the Bears by a field goal in this game. Number 4, the Dallas Cowboys are giving up, or they're getting 5.5 points on the road in San Francisco. And I know it's been their kryptonite. I'm still going to pick San Francisco to win this game, but I think that they can keep it within a field goal. So I'll take the 5.5 the Cowboys are getting. Finally, Monday night. The Steelers are playing the Giants. And last week, watching the Eagles, who I don't think that the defensive line has been that great this year, dominate that Giants offensive line. Like, I feel like the Steelers can really get after Daniel Jones or Drew Lock or whoever. And it's 6.5 points for the Steelers at home. I think that this game could get pretty ugly, and people are looking for alternate things to watch. Here we go, guys. We're in 5th down. Game of the week. Buffalo Bills going to play the Seahawks. And The reason that this is my game of the week is, one, the schedule's a little kind of weak this week as far as like major matchups, but I think both these teams leading their division, the Seahawks got their defensive line back and looked a lot better. I mean, they lost 3 in a row and were looking really, really shaky. And the Buffalo Bills have 5 wins this year. Their opponents that they have beat in those 5 games have a total of 8 wins. Like, they're not beating the cream of the crop. Now, you play who you play who's in front of you, and they're beating those teams. But I look at this as sort of like, can they go on the road to Seattle, beat a team that seems to be pretty healthy? It doesn't seem like DK Metcalf's going to play, but I mean, Kenneth Walker's going to be out there. Jackson Smith-Njigba and Tyler Lockett. I really like, like if you need a sleeper, you're in a deeper league, I like Jake Bobo to have a big week this week, maybe filling in for DK Metcalf. Bigger wide receiver, big target, and in past games, Geno has made a connection with him. But I like the Bills to go to Seattle and just find a way to grind out a win, right? We also get to see like the passing game for the Buffalo Bills last week. Was that more they're playing the Titans? Or was that like, hey, Amari Cooper is the real deal? I'm going to pick the Bills in this one. I've got the last 2 game of the weeks right here on the newsletter, hoping to go 3-0 in this segment. But I like the Bills over the Seahawks by a field goal. We'll go 27-24, last second, Tyler Bass breaking the hearts of the 12s there. That is going to wrap up this week of the newsletter. Appreciate you stopping by here. If you want to know more about 5thdown.shop, go to 5thdown.shop.